Jason, then we're going to round up. You know, obviously, people often say that, you know, things are one-on-one, like elections are one-on-one policy, one argument, one issue. But if it were the case that people weren't voting for UKIP, we know how you feel about immigration. How do you feel about education in terms of higher education?
Well, I agree with the gentleman in the front that mentioned that the degrees were becoming a little bit more worthless, and this is because in our view, too many people are going to university to get degrees that aren't really relevant to you know, to the life that we're living. What we want to see is more people get vocational training and apprenticeships, so and less people going to university. But the key point is the people that do go to university, we believe in, UKIP believes in free education. We do not believe that tuition fees are valid. We think that education is an investment in our children's future, and we are against everything that the other parties stand for. We would have free education in this country. We would want less people going to university to do what we consider, you know, important degrees. The other people doing vocational apprenticeships. But the key point is the people who are going to university shouldn't be paying for education. People coming out of this education system in this country with tens of thousands of pounds worth of debt, which it's a form of control by the government. It keeps people under control, and you're not having to sort of fight your way out of poverty. We think that's wrong. We think it's an investment, and we want to abolish tuition fees totally.
Okay. Sorry, guys. It seems, unfortunately, Zachariah, you kind of detached from this debate into iPad land. So I would like to bring you back in if you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just I'm just a bit frustrated over the current structure of this debate. And that, again, we're not discussing things which are pretty relevant in the context of...
Okay, but then again, as I said before, we can have an evaluation session after that. As for this topic right here, Zach, what do you believe the UKIP policy on unemployment would be? Because you have views about UKIP, as I understand.
On unemployment. Well, the fact of the matter is, the fact that when looking at particularly unemployment, specifically within demographics, when you look at the fact that 22% of young white people are unemployed in comparison to 60% of young black people who are unemployed, this in itself just shows how, you know, invalid and how ridiculous the UKIP argument is when they keep talking about the fact that immigrants keep taking the jobs.
Well, it's not. You just proved the argument
again,
correct by saying that.
let me finish. Like I said, it just further proves the point that, again, how invalid UKIP's arguments are in terms of when they keep arguing about, you know, immigrants taking our jobs. When in reality, employers are discriminating against people who actually apply for these jobs. If you are of a certain background, if you're a certain ethnic background, if you are Muslim, if you are black, if you're African, if you have a certain sounding, a specific ethnic sounding name, you're put at the bottom of the pile. And this is a reality that is seen by millions, by hundreds of thousands of ethnic people across this country. And so when you have groups like UKIP, and I'm going to bring it back to this because I think the debate should be brought here, when you have groups like UKIP who keep putting out these lies, and of course UKIP only cater to the uneducated members of this country, because that is what their policies are. They're completely empty, and they're completely uneducated and ill-informed. And so when they consistently go after the working people, the working class people of this country, and they build up this fear and this anger based on absolutely nothing, that immigrants are taking your housing, taking your jobs, taking your positions in the society, what happens? You build this lie, and this lie becomes a reality for these people, and then of course they start believing this whole fear-mongering tactic. It's a tactic that's been done in Nazi Germany, it's been done in the US, it's been against black people, it's been done against so many ethnic minorities. Romanians are the target now. Back how many years, how many decades ago? Who was it? The Caribbeans. Decades before that, who was it? The Asians. The same argument, the National Front brought it up, the same argument that the EDL will bring it up against Muslims. It's the exact same argument all over again with what was the name of the fascist Nazi sympathizer in the 1930s who brought up the issue? Mosley, Oswald Mosley, who argued the fact that the Jews were the problem of the society. It's the same argument, but they're picking different enemies. And what you have is, when you have these, they have specific token BME people who come up and say, no, UKIP is not a racist party. They have me as a member. Well, yeah, you're a token member. They put you up just to make it seem that
That's
everything is
insulting
good.
towards people that vote UKIP.
No,
Let me
finish.
People wanted to interrupt.
Okay,
you didn't
but you
interrupt.
exactly.
Let him talk.
Sorry. I will chair this. I will chair this, and I understand that you don't feel, and it's not. We said it in the rules that we're going to let people talk.
Thank you.
But by interrupting him and interrupting them, we're all doing the same thing. It all falls apart.
Maybe you need
So,
to check the.
I will do. Thank you.
So what I was saying is, when you have these specific numbers, again, it doesn't. The whole tactic is just to provide a veil behind the reality of what the horrors of what their message is, and their underlying message is hate or xenophobia, and ultimately racism. When they have placards or posters on the street saying 26 million Europeans are coming into Europe to take your job, that in itself is placing, or is a fear-mongering tactic. And what happens is, whether you do it intentionally or not is a different story. But the reality of the situation is, it causes a sense of fear in society. And the fact is, immigrant populations, or immigrant peoples within this country feel victimized, and what happens is they become the victim of brutalized attacks and racism and unemployment, lack of education resources, or resources in higher education or in further education, or any other institution, whether it's in prison institutions, where black people are represented in the prisons.
Can I just come back on that really, really quickly, sir?
No, actually, no.
Okay.
And I'm not doing this just because he said I need to check you, but because we've actually run out of time.
Thank you.
I'm really sorry, guys. As I said, always continue the debate. We at the end, continuing on the hashtags. I did promise that people who tweeted me would. So I had 2 people tweet me, I believe, and I'm going to quickly read out some of the tweets that I received. Net migration will be at an all-time high, with 243,000 in 2013 to 2014, not the 500,000 figure Mr. UKIP is throwing around. 26 million, let's be realistic. Great Britain is not the best attraction in Europe. In brackets, weather, high cost of living. As of today, we have 0 out of 650 MPs. Okay. UKIP have 0 out of 650 MPs, but have the same platform as a Labour MP who was a former minister. And the reason ex-BNP and EDL members are not joining UKIP is because of the different age gaps between the movements. The average age of most UKIPers is male, over 45-ish. Why would EDL thugs join them now, all former NF members? Question shouldn't have been regarding the sexualization of women, as we begin to perpetuate the actual issue. Let's take control of the steering wheel and change the direction of discussion by concentrating on representation. And that was from @Mr. Samouj. Then from @MeTruthy_XXX. In respect to African countries lacking knowledge on issues like cures for diseases, etc., it's our fault. As in, we get all this education and degrees, but not a lot of people go back home and sow into their respective countries. Now, there was scope for that debate in terms of how much should we be doing and how much should we be going back, and people who are descendants of or in the diaspora, but unfortunately we didn't have time to get to that. It's better when you guys are hungry for more. That's a good debate. I want to say thank you to everyone who's come up, thank you to the societies who've hosted us. I want to say thank you to each one of our panel members who has taken time out to be here today. Give them a round of applause. And I want to say thank you to Elevation Networks and every one of the sponsors involved in making sure that this happens. Please fill in your feedback forms. The Great Debate finale is going to be on the 20th of November in Parliament, and Elevation Networks has some 2014 to 15 programs. Please do sign up, get involved. Don't let this be the end of it. Don't just say, oh, I'm done now. Like, actually make it change your life. And